Let's be brutally honest. The moment a woman realizes she's lost you, it's not quiet, it's chaos. Not the kind you can see, but the kind that burns silently beneath her skin. At first, she won't show it. She'll act cold, unbothered. Maybe she'll post a picture smiling with her friends. Maybe she'll even text you something that sounds like she's fine. But inside, her world starts to shift. Because what she just lost wasn't a man. It was the reflection of herself that she could only see through you. See, women don't lose sleep over a breakup. They lose sleep over losing control. When she knows you've detached, when she can feel your energy slipping out of her orbit, that's when reality hits her like a wave. She replays every moment in her mind, every message she didn't answer fast enough, every time she thought she could get away with testing your patience. And now, she's haunted by the version of you she never truly appreciated. She'll try to pretend she's okay. She'll make you think she's already moved on. But deep down, something shifts. The woman who once felt powerful now feels uncertain, because she's starting to understand something she never thought she would. That not every man waits forever. That not every man stays available while she figures things out. And that realization hits harder than heartbreak, because when she knows she's lost you, she's not just losing the man who once wanted her. She's losing the man who made her feel seen, valued, and desired without her having to perform for it. She's losing the emotional anchor that kept her chaos calm. But she'll fight it differently. She won't cry in front of you. She'll go silent. That silence isn't peace. It's panic disguised as pride. She's thinking about you when she's out with her friends. She's checking your profile when no one's watching. She's wondering if you've really moved on or if you're just pretending. And the more calm you are, the more it eats at her. Because that's when the tables turn. The man she once took for granted now becomes the mystery she can't solve. The same man she thought she had wrapped around her finger suddenly feels out of reach, and that's when the fear sets in. The fear of being replaced, the fear of seeing you give another woman the attention she once wasted. And here's the truth no one tells you. Women notice everything when they lose you. The change in your tone, the time you take to reply or don't reply at all, the way your energy no longer bends toward her. That's when her ego starts to crumble. That's when she begins to realize that the power she thought she had wasn't hers. It was yours, given freely when you cared. Now she's left asking herself questions she never wanted to face. Was he really that easy to lose? Did I push too far? What if he never comes back? And those questions, they don't fade quickly. They linger. Because for the first time, she's not sure if her beauty, her charm, or her attitude can bring you back. And that right there is the turning point. The moment she starts to remember what it felt like when you cared, when you wanted her, when your eyes told her she was special, now she's the one who feels the void, and she'll try to fill it with distractions, with validation, with noise. But none of it feels the same, because deep down, she knows the truth. Once a man stops chasing, once he becomes silent and focused on himself, she can't manipulate that energy anymore. It's gone, and she feels it like a loss she'll never admit. You see, when she knows she's lost you, she starts realizing that maybe it was never about finding a better man. Maybe it was about losing the one who truly saw her, and that's a pain that doesn't go away. Here's the part that no one dares to admit. When a woman knows she's lost you, she doesn't immediately chase you. She tests you. She wants to see if the version of you that she once controlled still exists. She'll send a small message, something harmless like, "Hey, how have you been?" Not because she misses you, but because she wants to know if she still has access to you. If you respond too quickly, she'll feel powerful again. But if you don't, that's when her mind starts spiraling, because for the first time, she's realizing that your silence speaks louder than her words ever could. And that silence, it scares her. It forces her to face the truth she's been avoiding, that the man she thought would always be there isn't anymore, that she no longer controls the emotional current between you. See, most men don't understand how powerful that moment really is. When you finally stop reaching out, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop chasing her approval, she starts to chase clarity. And the irony is, she'll chase it in silence. She'll start remembering moments that didn't seem important before, the way you used to listen to her without judgment, the way you made her feel secure even when she tried to push you away. And here's the psychological truth. A woman's attraction doesn't grow from comfort. It grows from contrast. The moment she feels your absence, her mind creates a space that only you can fill. But you're no longer there. You're no longer the man waiting for her to decide if you're enough. You've become the man who decided for himself. That's when she starts doing subtle things, posting stories that seem innocent but are meant for your eyes, mentioning places you used to go together, suddenly bringing up your name in mutual circles. It's not coincidence. It's her trying to stir the energy you've taken back. Because what she can't handle is your indifference. When a man becomes indifferent, when he truly reclaims his peace, that's when she starts to crave what she once ignored. It's human nature. We only appreciate stillness after we've created chaos. We only recognize stability after we've lost it. And she's realizing that the calm you brought into her life was something rare, something she mistook for weakness. But here's where you must stand strong, because this is where most men break. When she starts reaching out again, when she begins to show vulnerability, when she says things like, "I miss us," or "I was thinking about you," it's easy to believe she's changed, but often it's not love. It's fear. Fear of losing her emotional influence over you. Fear of seeing you happy without her. You have to remember loss affects people differently. For men, it's usually immediate. You feel it right away, the emptiness, the confusion, the pull to fix things. But for women, it's delayed. It hits her only when she realizes your absence isn't temporary, when your silence stops being a reaction and starts being your new reality. That's when her pride begins to crack. And that's why your power lies in restraint. Because when you no longer react, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability in a man creates desire in a woman. It makes her wonder, did he move on? Is he seeing someone else? Did I really mean that little to him? And those questions, they drive her wild because she can't find the answers. Every time you choose peace over reaction, you rewrite the story she's been telling herself. You stop being the man who chased her approval and become the man who doesn't need it. That shift, right there, is magnetic. It's the kind of energy she can feel even when you're not speaking. So when she tests you, when she tries to draw you back into the cycle, remember, your silence is not weakness. It's strength disguised as mystery. And mystery is the one thing that keeps her awake at night. There's something haunting about the moment she realizes she's truly lost you. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's when she wakes up one morning, checks her phone, and your name isn't there anymore. No text, no message, no attention, just silence. And that silence becomes deafening because for the first time, she understands that she's no longer the center of your world, and she doesn't know how to handle it. You see, most women don't expect to lose a man emotionally. Physically, maybe, but not emotionally. They assume you'll always be there, waiting, orbiting around her moods, her decisions, her timing. That's why when you pull back for real, not to manipulate her, but because you're done giving your energy to someone who couldn't value it, it shakes her to the core. She'll start asking herself questions she can't escape. Did I push him too far? Why isn't he chasing me anymore? Does he even care? And that uncertainty begins to consume her because she knows what kind of man you were, the one who cared deeply, who tried, who showed up. And now you've become the one who doesn't even look back. That transformation messes with her mind more than anything else. That's when she starts chasing a ghost. She's not chasing you. She's chasing the version of herself she was when you wanted her. She's chasing the validation that came from knowing she had your full attention. And now she can't recreate it because it wasn't about her. It was about what you gave. The depth, the focus, the presence, those things can't be faked. They're only felt. And when she feels that absence, she starts to crave it. But by then, you've changed. You're no longer the man who texts her first thing in the morning. You're no longer the man checking if she's okay. You've started investing your energy into yourself, your goals, your peace, your growth. That's when she realizes she's been replaced, not by another woman, but by your purpose. And that's the moment her pride collapses. Because women are drawn to power, not arrogance, but the power that comes from emotional control. The man who doesn't need her validation to feel confident becomes the man she respects, even if she won't admit it. Now here's where it gets interesting. When a woman feels she's lost you, she'll start to mirror your detachment, but not because she's healed. She's trying to match your strength. She'll post quotes about self-love, act like she's thriving, show the world she's fine. But behind that facade, she's checking your every move. Every silence feels louder. Every post you make hits harder. Every moment you don't reach out reminds her she's no longer in control. And deep down, she starts to understand what you once felt. The anxiety of waiting, the pain of uncertainty, the confusion of silence. She begins to live in the emotional space she once left you in. That's her karma. Not revenge, not payback, but realization. Because once a woman feels that kind of loss, it forces her to grow or break. Some will try to come back, not because they love you, but because they miss the version of themselves they had when they were with you. Others will stay silent but carry that regret quietly for years. And the truth? Both remember you, not for what you did, but for how you made them feel, and for how they lost that feeling forever. And you become something else entirely. You're no longer the man who needed her attention. You're the man who turned his pain into power. The man she once underestimated, now unrecognizable in his peace. And that, right there, is when she finally understands what she lost. Not a relationship, not a boyfriend, but a man who had depth, intention, and a heart that was willing to give until it wasn't. The strangest part about losing a man's heart is that it never happens all at once. It fades. Slowly, silently, like a light dimming in a room she didn't realize was keeping her warm. And by the time she notices, it's too late. That's when the regret begins. When she starts to remember the things she once dismissed as too much. The long messages she ignored, the little acts of love she took for granted, the nights you stayed up listening while she vented about things that didn't even involve you. Now those memories sting, because every time she remembers them, she also remembers how carelessly she treated them, and that's what breaks her, not your absence, but her reflection in the mirror of your silence. Because it forces her to see what she did. It's not just that she lost a man, it's that she lost the version of herself that felt safe, admired, and wanted by someone who genuinely cared. When a woman realizes she's lost that kind of man, her pride begins to suffocate her. She starts replaying moments in her head, moments that seemed meaningless at the time, but now feel like warnings. The jokes you made about being tired of trying, the slight change in your tone, the distance she brushed off as you being dramatic. Now, every one of those moments becomes proof that you were slipping away long before she even noticed. And that's when she starts to spiral. She'll stalk your social media more than she'll ever admit. She'll analyze every post, every picture, every story, looking for signs that maybe you still care. She'll try to convince herself that your silence means you're just as hurt as she is. But deep down, she knows it doesn't. Because your silence has purpose. She has panic. See, when you stopped reaching out, you didn't just walk away. You reclaimed something. Your focus, your dignity, your peace. You stopped trying to convince her of your worth and started living in a way that proved it. That's the kind of shift no one can fake. And that's what draws her back in, because the man she once took for granted now has something she can't buy back, his self-respect. That's when she tries one last thing, to re-enter your life casually. She'll pretend it's innocent, a simple just checking in, or I saw something that reminded me of you. But beneath those words is fear, the fear that you've truly detached. Because once a man detaches emotionally, no amount of flirting, guilt, or nostalgia can pull him back. And that's what she feels now, powerless. Because she's facing a truth she never expected. The man she thought would always chase her is now the man she has to chase. And chasing doesn't come naturally to her. It breaks her pride. But pride doesn't fill the silence. It doesn't replace what she lost. So she starts to question herself instead. Why didn't I try harder? Why did I take him for granted? Was he really the one? And those thoughts, those late night realizations, become her new prison. Because now she's living in the uncertainty she once made you live in. And the irony is, she finally understands what it feels like to lose someone who truly cared. She finally understands what she destroyed. But by then, it's not your job to fix her pain, because you've learned that love without respect isn't love, it's dependency, and you've outgrown that. You've stepped into your strength, your confidence, your purpose. You've become the man she sees now and can't reach anymore. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Not because you left, but because you grew. You became the man she thought she could break, and instead, you became the one she can't replace. There comes a moment in every man's story when peace finally feels louder than pain. That's when you know you've healed. Not when you stop thinking about her, but when you stop needing her to think about you. When her silence no longer hurts, and your silence no longer feels like revenge, it feels like freedom. That's the moment she truly loses you forever. Because here's the truth most men never realize until it's too late. A woman doesn't fall in love with a man's words, she falls in love with his energy. And when that energy turns cold, when it's no longer directed toward her, but toward your growth, your purpose, your future, it triggers something deep in her psychology. She begins to crave what she once dismissed, the attention, the validation, the security, but you've evolved beyond needing to give it. And that's where your power lies. You see, the man she thought she could replace has now become a man she can only remember. Every time she sees you smiling, focused, improving, something inside her twists because she's realizing that the breakup didn't break you, it built you. That losing her didn't weaken you, it refined you. And that's the kind of power that no amount of beauty, status, or new relationships can compete with. She'll remember your silence. She'll remember the strength in the way you walked away, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. Because the truth is, a man who knows his value doesn't need to prove it. He embodies it. And that energy, it's rare. It's magnetic. It's the kind of presence women respect even when they can't have it. But here's the secret few understand. When you reach that level of peace, she will come back. Maybe not physically, but emotionally. She'll think about you at random moments. She'll see something that reminds her of you and feel that ache in her chest. She'll remember how safe she felt with you, even when she didn't deserve it. But by then, it won't matter, because you'll finally see what she couldn't see before, that your love was never the problem. It was your focus. You gave it to someone who wasn't ready for it. And once a man reclaims that focus, the world opens up to him. You start attracting people, opportunities, and peace in ways you never imagined. You realize that losing her wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Preparation to become the man you were meant to be before you tried to shrink yourself to fit into her world. You stop needing closure because you become closure. Your growth is the answer to every question she never asked. Your peace is the proof that walking away was the right choice. And that's what drives her crazy. Not your distance, but your calm, because she can sense it. A woman can always feel when a man is no longer emotionally available to her. It's an energy shift, and it terrifies her more than any argument ever could. And that's where you win, not by hurting her, not by ignoring her, but by outgrowing her. Because outgrowing someone isn't about moving on fast. It's about moving on strong. It's about rebuilding yourself so completely that even if she came back, she wouldn't recognize the man standing in front of her. So remember this. Your silence was never weakness. It was your evolution. Your detachment wasn't avoidance. It was mastery. And your peace. That's the loudest message you'll ever send. Now let me ask you something. When she finally realizes what she lost, when she sees you stronger, calmer, and completely out of reach, what will you do? Will you let her back into your peace? Or will you protect it? Comment your answer below. And if this spoke to something deep in you, like this video, subscribe for more and share it with a friend who needs to hear this right now. Because sometimes, losing her is exactly what it takes to find you.